Alright, hello. Here is my presentation for being a teacher's assistant in Biology 1 by Hannah Reed. 1 minute. Okay. So I was a teacher's assistant for Mr. Brennan. He teaches sophomore biology, and some of the main things that I did to help him make his life easier was creating study content and just content in general for students to look at and review. I helped him with grading summatives and formatives, as well as the packets that I created to hand out. One of the main things I loved is that I was able to do individual check-ins while he taught lessons or, help people, and that just was a good way to make sure that everyone was understanding the content and what was going on in the classroom. He gave me full access to the Google Classroom. He taught 4 periods, which is really helpful to have because I was able to post everything all at once. And as you can see here is the 4 blocks. And I posted my slideshow presentations and everything right here and added it to the Google Classroom. So the main products that I produced for him were, like I said, study content, which consisted of presentations on certain subjects, or not subjects, sorry, on certain units that we did that just narrowed down on key concepts that students, may have not been too that weren't covered well enough. And I also did Kahoots to engage them in class, which was a hit. And this is a screenshot of the Kahoot. And then I also made quizzes for in-class work. Here is a overview of the worksheets that I produced. Some of them were formative. Some of them, like number 2, is just a review sheet for a summative. And this also just was a good check-in in class, so they would be prepared for the summative. Like I said, there were 4 units: respiration and circulation, digestion, inheritance ideas, and life on Earth and evolution. So on each unit, I would produce around 2 presentations. I'd also present them in class to first period, which was my assigned block. This is a screenshot of my first slideshow presentation, and I have a last slide with additional resources to help them check in on the content and if they were understanding from my presentation. I try to make the wording really familiar and easy to comprehend so that they could break down really complex ideas. This was my first experiment that I created for all 4 periods to do. This was our respirometer that tested aerobic and anaerobic organisms. We used yeast, sugar, and salt, and it was pretty simple, but a really important thing to do. This was another DNA extraction with enzymes, which was my favorite subject. Basically, we would peel a bunch of fruit and extract their DNA and then put them into a test tube with an enzyme in order to create this layer you see here at the top, which was really fascinating. These are some images from onion cells that we took. It's really important for students to acknowledge the difference between animal and plant cells because plant cells are structured quite differently. And we didn't need dye for this, which was really cool. So overall, my honest review, I thought it was really unique to be a TA. I've never done anything like this before. I was able to really connect with students. And being a senior, it was really impactful for me. I feel like I definitely would love to have a TA when I was in a class like this as well. It was also just a great thing for me to do, to be a role model. And towards the beginning of the year, I was pretty shy and uncomfortable. And I feel like now I have stepped out of my bubble and am a lot more confident with public speaking and just in general. And I rate this like a 1 to fun I rate this a 10 out of 1 fun. My main takeaways is that classes like these, you need to really have a lot of patience for students, as well as trial and error. So always have a plan B if something goes wrong. Just be patient, and if students aren't answering your questions, just like rephrase that, which is something I learned from Mr. Brennan. I mainly wanted to make his workload a lot easier by helping him grade and posting content as well, and I think I definitely achieved that. I believe that I'm continuing to learn, and he is too, and it was really cool to learn from him. Um, and yeah, that's my presentation.